show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less by watching this video. Would you believe me? This, ladies and gentlemen, this is not clickbait. If you are a woman in leadership or in a leadership role, and you have found yourself introducing yourself to other people, perhaps you're in those very high stakes, high pressure situations where you need an executive presence all of the time, this video is just for you. I'm going to share with you step-by-step ways that you can show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. By the end of this video, you will have several strategies to consider and to put into place. So the next time when you are introducing yourself or meeting someone, let's say, for the first time, or networking, or maybe you're going to a meeting or perhaps a job interview, you can show your executive presence immediately. Now on this channel, this is what we talk about. We talk about those very next level, high communication skills on this channel, more advanced techniques. My role here is to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. And the way to do that is to show you my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, as a manager, a director, a public speaker, and an executive coach, to put you a step ahead of everyone else so that you can do all the amazing things that I know you want to do in your career. Now, this is a live video. So I do want to mention to you that there is a point in time where the individuals that are actually watching live will join. So if you're watching this video right now, you are watching the replay. And I appreciate you so much for spending a bit of your time with me today to talk about this very important topic that will help you to skyrocket your career growth. But the individuals that are joining live, I will say hello to them. So just bear with me for just a few moments while I say hello to everyone. And then we'll jump into how you can show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. You will definitely want to get a pen and a paper to write down these concepts, these strategies that I'm going to share with you, because this is how you can always showcase yourself as a leader. So for those of you who have just joined, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here today. If you would like to learn how to show your executive presence as a leader in 20 seconds or less, yes, 20 seconds or less, you absolutely want to watch this video until the very end. I'm going to share with you strategies, techniques, some things you really need to think about as it relates to developing your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. If you like this information and you think this topic is very interesting, then subscribe to my channel. I talk about very advanced, high-level communication skills all the time, and this is a place where you are going to elevate and stand out above your peers by communicating at a higher level than everybody else. All right, let me say hello to everybody. So we have Maddox Henderson. Hello, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? We have Josue Alvarez. Hello, welcome, welcome. Troll Hunter Edits. Hello, welcome, welcome. How are you all doing today? Maddox Henderson said, I subscribe. Well, thank you, Maddox. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for subscribing. This is going to be a really fun topic. So if you've ever been in a leadership role, this is regardless of what gender you are, these are the strategies you need to do to develop your executive presence in 20 seconds or less when you are speaking to someone. So if you have any questions as it relates to executive presence, leadership, how to communicate at a higher level, or maybe you've had some challenging situations to happen and you're not sure what you should do or how you should manage it, this is the place to ask me. Ask me in the comments below. I will share with you over 20 years worth of experience that I personally have had as a C-suite executive, a manager, and a director to help you navigate those very complex and challenging situations that come up. So let me know what questions you have, and let me know what part of this big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. I'm looking forward to greeting you from your respective countries. So feel free to let me know where you're joining from while we are getting started. So I told you at the very beginning of this is how you can show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. So I'm going to go through each of the items that you need to think about relatively quickly to give you some pretty good insight in terms of what you need to do. Before I do that, I see something popped in the chat. Maddox Henderson is from Oklahoma. Okay, welcome, welcome from Oklahoma. Greetings from the Sunshine State of Florida. That is where I am located. All right, so the first thing that we want to keep in mind when you're trying to showcase your executive presence in 20 seconds or less, keep in mind this is 20 seconds or less. First, before you go into your meeting, your interview, or your high stakes situation, you want to get the executive mindset going. The first thing you need to do is you need to reflect on your experiences in whatever field that you're going into and recognize that when you're walking into this room, you are the expert in your field. Now you may say, but what if I'm not the expert in my field? Well, I want to help you rephrase that and think of the experiences and the skill sets that you have that put you at that next level. You have your own unique experiences, and there is no one in the world that can do or understand certain aspects of situations or projects and etc. like you. You have your own unique experiences. So every time when you're going into a meeting, the first thing you have to do, number one thing you need to do to really be able to elevate your executive presence is to make sure that you are going in with that executive mindset that you are the expert. That is a great way to boost your confidence because you need that confidence to do the remaining steps that I'm going to show you in terms of how you are going to be able to showcase your executive presence. All right, so let's see. We have another person in the comments. I live in padded room. Okay, hello, welcome. Let me know where you're joining from today. Can you give my friend Nick a shout out? Okay, I don't know who Nick is, but hello, welcome Nick, if Nick is present, but I appreciate that. So we talked a bit about the first thing you got to do. The first thing you need to do is you need to get the executive mindset. You need to do that by recognizing that you are an expert in your field. There is something that you know that everybody else does not know. So that's number one. Let's say you're walking into a room. The next thing I want you to work on, remember, this is 20 seconds or less, okay? This is going to move rapid fire fast, but I'm going to go into each of the strategies so you know exactly what you need to do. So when there's 20 seconds, you've already established your executive presence, is to work on and focus on your nonverbal gestures. Your nonverbal gestures will actually say a lot more about your executive presence sometimes than what you verbally are actually saying. So you may be wondering, well, how do I do that? And let me know in the comments below if you like this information, if it's helping you to think about your executive presence and showcasing yourself as a leader a bit differently. Let me know in the comments below and let me know what questions you have about showing your executive presence as a leader. So your nonverbal cues are very important. So if you're trying to establish your executive presence within 20 seconds or less, you have your mindset, you have the confidence mindset in your mind in terms of how you are walking into the room. The second thing that you will need to do is monitor your nonverbal gestures. What specifically I have found to be successful for myself and for my clients to showcase an executive presence is a few things that I want you to write down or keep in mind. First is if you are walking into a room, or perhaps you're already sitting in a room, whatever the case might be, your posture should be upright. So your posture should be upright. You shouldn't be slouched over. Like slouched over is not the posture of a leader. It's not. If there's something physically preventing you from sitting up straight, then that's okay. We work with it, and if we work together in a one-on-one coaching setting, I will help you to overcome that. But ideally, if you are able to sit up straight, so you're able to sit up straight when you walk into the room, you're going to sit up straight and have that posture as someone that is a leader, that is actually an executive. That's the first nonverbal cue. The second nonverbal cue that I want you to focus in on is what your smile or your mouth or your lips are doing. What I've seen a lot of people make mistakes in as it relates to showcasing their executive presence is they don't know what to do with their lips. Like they're not sure, should I smile? Should I frown? Should I have a straight face? I talk about this, and this is something I've shared actually with my email list. So if you're interested in joining, feel free to go to www.exciteexcellence.org where you can sign up for my mailing list. But there's different types of smiles that you need to have depending on the situation. Now, if you're going into a room and you are just coming in and showcasing your executive presence immediately, then it depends on the group you're working with. If it's a new group of individuals that you've never encountered before, then a smile is appropriate. So working on your nonverbal gestures, walking into the room with a smile. Or if you know you're going to have a more serious conversation that may require a bit more discussion and you're very friendly with the group, you know about the group, then perhaps you just want to have a straight face. So there's different types of smiles that you can have, or different types of gestures that you can show with your lips that are showing that you are being an executive, or you're showcasing yourself as executive. Executives are the individuals that are your leaders. These are the individuals that are moving companies forward, moving projects forward, starting businesses, and doing etc. So keep in mind, you want to position yourself as an executive at all times. So be mindful of what your lips are doing. When you're walking into a room, and let's say we talked about the first nonverbal gesture is your posture, sit up straight. Second is your lips. So make sure you're either going to smile at your team, hello, how y'all doing today? Or are you going to say, hello, how are you? And then go back to a straight face. Just depends on the situation. If you have questions, put them in the comments below and let me know. Now, that's the second nonverbal gesture. The third nonverbal gesture I want you to focus on. Remember, this is 20 seconds or less. So we're going to go through everything, break it down step by step so you know exactly what to do. But these are all the boxes you need to check off when you're trying to establish your executive presence immediately, fast. The third nonverbal gesture that you want to focus in on is your eye contact. This, by far, is one of the most important gestures that will help you to set yourself as an executive. One of the things that I've talked about on my channel many times before is that a lot of people struggle with two important nonverbal or verbal gestures or verbal situations. One scenario is that people struggle with is making eye contact. So many people are not comfortable making eye contact. Why? It is something that intuitively feels awkward. It is a exchange of basically communication between you and someone else that may not feel exactly quite right. So what I tell my audience here, and if you're watching this video, I hope you have subscribed, because this is the type of real strategies, real techniques that you are going to get from me here on this channel. You may not get this on YouTube elsewhere, because there's a lot of theories out there. There's not like that. There's not a lot of real things that are going on in terms of this is what exactly you do. Is that if you can start to master how you maintain eye contact with someone, it will automatically establish your executive presence immediately. When I mean immediately, and I am saying this as a guarantee, your eye contact will immediately establish your executive presence, which is why this specific type of nonverbal gesture is so incredibly important as it relates to establishing your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. Remember, this is all happening very fast, so your eye contact is important. Now, there's several videos I have here on my channel that talk about eye contact, and I have a specific live video on eye contact. Take a few moments, if you're new to me, to just take a moment and look at my lives. There's a lot of really great content on my lives. I'm sharing with y'all my very best here on YouTube and giving you everything that I would give to my clients in a one-on-one setting. Of course, the difference is if you specifically need some help for you in terms of your situation, your high-pressured, high-stakes situation, or managing things under pressure, then that's where we work together one-on-one. But I'm giving you my very best here on the channel. So take a look at my lives, see the videos I've talked about eye contact. I will give you a bit of a teaser into some of those videos. You'll want to watch out for my cowboy, cowgirl analogy in terms of how you maintain eye contact. When you check out the videos and you find it, and you find how I talk about cowboy and cowgirl analogy as it relates to eye contact, then you will understand why this is important. And not only that, you will actually know how to do it. Then you just have to practice. So I've shared with you 3 nonverbal categories that you need to focus on if you're trying to develop your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. Now, if you like this information so far, let me know in the comments below which of the nonverbal gestures to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less are you going to work on? What is the one that you struggle with the most? One of the ones that I struggled with initially when I started my journey to develop my executive presence was all of them. But the main one that I struggled with, that I had to really practice, was my eye contact. I needed help with that. And the things I'm sharing with you, I've actually struggled with myself, and I've actually placed myself in a situation where I've been able to master how I present myself. Now, we've talked about two categories, so to speak. So we talked about the first thing you have to do, for those of you who have just joined, welcome. The first strategy you need to have in mind if you want to develop executive presence in 20 seconds or less, if you're meeting someone or interacting or introducing yourself. We talked about your mindset. The second category we talked about is your nonverbal gestures. We took a deep dive into those nonverbal gestures and talked about 3 key ones that are very important in terms of how to establish yourself as an executive. Now we're going to go into the third category. I have 4. So if you have stayed around for these 2, the third and the fourth are going to be very, very helpful for you to know. The third category that you'll need to focus on if you want to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less is your tone of voice. I have several videos here on my channel that talk about how your tone of voice is very, very important and how it helps to elevate you as you are starting to establish your executive presence. So let me see who came in on the chat. Pro BTC, welcome back, friend. How are you? So let me know if you have any questions specifically as it relates to developing your executive presence and showcasing yourself as a leader, Pro BTC. And if you have any Bitcoin knowledge for us, then feel free to share. So your tone of voice is very, very important. So how you are speaking when you're making that initial introduction or saying hello to someone is very, very important. You don't want to come across like a high-pitched voice like, hey, how are you? No, you need to have a bit more depth to your voice that sounds more like an executive. So what do I mean specifically? You may need to slightly lower your tone of voice slightly. There's a few videos I have on my channel that talk specifically about understanding your baseline in terms of how you communicate. So as I mentioned a few moments ago, spend some time on my lives and you'll see how I talk about establishing your baseline as it relates to your tone of voice to help you move forward. So your tone of voice is very important if you're trying to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. Remember, this is 20 seconds or less in terms of establishing your executive presence. So when you say hello to someone, you may want to say, hello, my name is, etc. Or hello, my name is, let's say, Pro BTC, because Pro BTC is on the live today. Hello, Pro BTC. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well, and etc. So this is something that you want to say it in a tone of voice where it's not too high, it's not too low, it's just right. And I know that analogy is something people think about when they think about high, middle, low, but you really want to be in the middle because you definitely want to be able to showcase your executive presence when you're talking to other people. All right, let me see what came in the chat. Big Z, yes, Big Z, hello, welcome back. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well today. Yes, Big Z said, do you remember me? Of course I do, Big Z. Yes, I do, absolutely. It's good to have some fellow people back. Pro BTC and Big Z they have been on my channel, on my lives several times in the past. Big Z, let me know if you have any questions about executive presence or showcasing yourself as a leader. I'm doing a really, very, very quick deep dive into how you can show your executive presence in a very quick setting in about 20 seconds or less. So I'll go through the replay, or I'll go through the recap for you in just a moment because I know you just joined. All right, so Big Z said, I hope you're having a great day today. Actually, Big Z, I'm having an amazing day today. I hope you're having a great day. Also, every day is great when I'm able to spend some time with subscribers and other individuals like yourself that come back to watch my lives. I really appreciate you. And any day I can help to elevate how you all are communicating as leaders is always an amazing day for me, especially on a global setting. Okay, so we talked about the third category, which was your tone of voice. If you're trying to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less, you have to be able to monitor your tone of voice and make it in the middle. Don't make it too high. Don't make it too low. It needs to sound very, I would say, leadership-like. So it should sound very matter-of-fact, very affirmative. You should not have a lot of questions in your voice. People should hear that you know exactly what you're talking about. And the way to do this is by starting with the first category we talked about with your mindset first. All right, so Big Z said, that's wonderful to hear you look like you are happy. Yes, I am very happy. I'm excited to talk about this topic because this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And this is something I can talk about all day, literally, Big Z. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to go into the fourth and final category in terms of how to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. So for those of you who have just joined, like Big Z and Pro BTC, and a couple other people that I see are present too, I'm going to go through the other three categories of what you need to do to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. You'll definitely want to watch the replay because I do go into a little bit more detail on them. The first category, if you're trying to establish your executive presence in 20 seconds or less, and this is step by step, is you have to have the executive mindset first. How do you have the executive mindset? We talked about that a bit earlier in the live, but the key important takeaway from developing that executive mindset is to place yourself mentally in the space that you are the expert in your specific project or your specific discipline. That helps to boost your confidence. So when you're going into these meetings, or let's say you're going into an interview, a board meeting, or you're meeting a client for the first time, or you're working on your business, or etc., you already in your mind feel confident because you know you are the expert in this particular field, whatever it is. So that's the first category. The second category we talked about to develop your executive presence in 20 seconds or less when you meet somebody is your nonverbal cues. So we talked about 3 in detail, but I'll go over them really briefly for the individuals that join. They are your posture, eye contact, and what you're doing with your lips in terms of how you're communicating. So all those nonverbal gestures are very important. The third category to show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less is to make sure you're monitoring your tone of voice. It needs to be very authoritative, not authoritative, let me rephrase, very affirmative, very confident in terms of what you're saying. And fourth, and finally, which is very important for you to have as you are trying to develop your executive presence in 20 seconds or less, is to master the power of the pause, as I say to my clients. Make sure you are pausing when you are speaking. This not only gives you time to take a break and to process what the other person is saying, but it also shows that you are in control of a conversation. There are 2 things I mentioned in this video, well, this is the second one, that people really do struggle with. So if you can master at least these 2 specific things that I mentioned in this video, you will automatically communicate at a higher level than your peers. The first is eye contact. People are not comfortable with making eye contact. Therefore, if you can make eye contact, you will automatically set yourself up as someone who is an executive, that is a leader, that can be in control of a conversation. The second is your ability to pause. It sounds and it feels awkward, right? When you are speaking to someone and there is dead space in the air. It feels very, 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 very weird. However, many people are not comfortable with silence. So if you can start becoming more comfortable with silence, automatically you're going to be at a higher level in terms of how you communicate with your peers because you are comfortable with being silent. These are 2 things that people struggle with. And if I had to break it down to three aspects that leaders struggle with, are the following. And I'll say people in general. People struggle with public speaking. People struggle with eye contact. People struggle with being able to pause and have silence in a conversation. So it feels awkward. They don't know what to do. So if you're watching this channel, you're subscribed to my channel, which I hope that you are, and you share this with a friend, a colleague, a loved one to help them communicate at a higher level. If you can master these 3 areas, and I know there's a lot of other things, but these 3 are the big ones. If you can master them, you will put yourself at that higher level than your peers, and you will automatically stand out as a leader. So let me look at the chat and see what's going on. Cute girl, welcome back. Glad to see you again. Hello, hello. Of course, cute girl, I remember you. How could I forget you? I'm so glad you joined today. If you have any questions as it relates to establishing your executive presence in 20 seconds or less, let me know. I'm going through basically the recap of the live right now. So cute girl, we had talked about some really great information. And I'll do probably a really quick scenario after I finish up with this last point, just so you know, because I appreciate you coming back to my channel. Now, so the fourth category was pausing. So making sure you pause in between your responses. So when you introduce yourself to someone, you can say, hello, my name is Cute Girl. How are you doing today? Pause, silence. I know it feels awkward, but you are showing yourself as someone who can manage something that other people feel uncomfortable with. Because most of the time when people speak, they speak too fast normally because they're not used to being quiet. It feels awkward being quiet. And I will share with you when I first started my journey as a public speaker over 20 years ago, one of the areas that I personally struggled with was speaking very quick. I spoke very, 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 very fast. And it was just because I wasn't comfortable with silence, just like everybody else. But I've learned how to master that. It helps you not only in establishing your executive presence in 20 seconds or less, but it also helps you to be able to have difficult conversations. It helps you to be able to navigate challenging scenarios that happen. It is something that is a tool that you should always be able to pull out when you need to, because silence helps to establish you as a leader. And it helps to not only establish you as a leader, but it also helps you to showcase your expertise, because many people can't stay silent like that. So Cute Girl said, cool, thank you, I appreciate that. We went over. Okay, sorry, my audio went out. I don't know why the audio and video goes out. So I'm gonna have to talk a lot to YouTube about that when I'm giving feedback on live streaming. But, so Cute Girl, yes, cool, thank you, I appreciate that. This is what will help you to showcase your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. And I appreciate the emojis, Cute Girl, thank you so much for those, I appreciate those. Now, I want to let everybody know, if you have any questions, if any of this information I shared with you sounds interesting, or you want to learn more and you want to be able to showcase yourself as a leader and develop your executive presence, or perhaps enhance your executive presence, then reach out to me for a strategy session. It's just a brief call. It's about 20 minutes where we just talk and about where you are, where you're trying to go, where do you need to improve yourself, and we come up with a game plan just for you. So if you are in high stakes situations, you're a leader, you are either at the end of your leadership journey, or maybe you're in the beginning or the middle, sometimes you just need some customized support. And so if you need that customized support, I'm here to help you get that customized support and develop a strategy to help you accelerate in your career and go to that next level. Now, for those of you who are still here, so Cute Girl, we just talked about a couple things as it relates to how to showcase and show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. So next time you have a conversation with someone, it's an individual you've never met before, do these check off these 4 categories as I mentioned at the very beginning, and I'll go through them very, very quickly just for Cute Girl because I know she just joined here lately. The first is to have the executive mindset. Make sure you're in the right mindset in terms of position yourself as the leader. So watch the replay for all of these because I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly. The second is to work on your nonverbal gestures. We talked about 3 key nonverbal gestures that you want to work on to showcase and to display your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. So definitely watch the replay to check those out. The third category was your tone of voice. So you want to really be mindful of your tone of voice. We talked a bit more about that in detail in the live. And then the fourth and final category that will help you to show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less when you are meeting and speaking with someone is to pause. Pause strategically because you are going to need to create that space to show that this is something that you are comfortable being able to manage. So I want to know from you, which of these categories or strategies did you like the best? Which one did you feel like will help you to start showing your executive presence? Everybody starts at different areas in their careers. And I will share with you, I didn't wake up one day and just say, I have an executive presence now. It didn't work like that for me. For me personally, it took me many, many years of being a manager, being a director, being a C-suite, and being able to interact with different congressional leaders over the years to understand what it means to present yourself as an executive at all times. And the information I'm sharing with you in terms of how to show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less are the culmination of what I have done for the past 20 years to help me communicate at a higher level than my peers. And I want you all to adapt this information, make it your own, and truly elevate yourself as leaders. I know executive presence can sometimes be like a mystical unicorn. Sometimes people just don't know, how do you do it? What do you do? Like, what is it exactly? And I want to be able to share with you my experiences. It took me a while to figure it out, and I was able to learn and make a lot of mistakes along the way that I do not want you all to make mistakes in, and as it relates to enhancing your executive presence. So I want to look in the chat. We have Mike. Hello, Mike. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Feel free to let me know where you are joining from, and I appreciate you taking a few moments to stop by and say hello. We are working on a topic as it relates to how to show your executive presence in 20 seconds or less. You missed a lot of the live. That's all right. Just definitely check out the replay, but I'm just sharing with you a bit more about my experiences in terms of how I started to develop my executive presence. So Mike, if you have any questions as it relates to this topic, feel free to let me know. Ask me anything. I'm here to support you on your leadership journey and help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. So yes, as I mentioned, it took me a while to be able to figure all of this out. And what happened to me in terms of the mistakes that I made is that I did not pause. I did not listen as well as I do now. I learned more about listening as an executive coach, believe it or not. Being an executive coach helped me to learn how to listen and how to really appreciate pauses. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way. So have I done everything correctly as a leader? Absolutely not. I've definitely made some mistakes, not too many critical mistakes, but I've made many mistakes over the years as it relates to interacting with other individuals and teams and etc., which is why I spend so much of my time on communication, because I want you all not to make the mistakes that I made. I know how it is when you are new to a leadership role, or maybe you have been a leader and you are transitioning into a new leadership role, or perhaps you have been a leader. You've been like me. You've been a C-suite and you're at the point where you're in your life and you're thinking to yourself, what's next? What do I want to do? I know what it feels like, and I understand what specifically it is that you need to have as you are trying to elevate yourself to that next level in your career. And having an executive presence, establishing one, is by far one of the most important characteristics that any leader, regardless if you're a man in leadership, regardless if you're a woman in leadership, which is my target audience, you need an executive presence. The executive presence is something that not only will showcase your expertise and show you as a leader, but it will actually, believe it or not, it will protect you in those very high stakes and very challenging situations. My executive presence has protected me many, many times. I have been in very friendly conversations and I have been in very highly contentious conversations. And establishing your executive presence is something that will actually protect you. So as I mentioned earlier in the live on my channel, I talk about real scenarios, real techniques, real strategies to help you on your journey. And the only reason I can speak about these real strategies and real techniques and scenarios is because I've been through them. I've been in situations where I have been undermined. I've been in situations where someone's trying to call me out. I've been in situations where people are not necessarily trying to promote what I'm trying to do or the projects I'm working on. I've been in those situations, and of course I've been in a lot of amazing situations too, where people are trying to help you and trying to support you, etc. So I've seen a mix of both, and you have to be prepared for both. Most of the time when people struggle as leaders, it's because we are just not taught how to manage very complex or challenging situations. And there's a lot of information on YouTube. There's a lot of great information on YouTube, but there's some information that's out here on YouTube where people are talking about their experiences helping someone else. Meaning they may be an executive coach, they may be a consultant, and they've only worked with a certain type of people to help them develop their leadership skills or help them to communicate better, develop their executive presence. but they have not actually been through a situation themselves. I know several people on YouTube that are in the same communication space as I am in terms of how to elevate yourself. My channel is a bit different because I really focus on real strategies, and I'm giving you real techniques that you can actually do. But there are several people on YouTube, and I don't want to say names specifically, but they haven't actually been in these hot seat roles, as I would call them. A C-suite, hot seat role. Leadership, hot seat role. But they haven't been in those very high level roles where you have to make those decisions and you're in the hot seat all the time. And you gain a different perspective when you have worked in those roles based off of the interactions you have with other people. Because you can't speak from experience. You can't help other people move forward if you've never been in those situations yourself, which is one of the reasons why I'm so incredibly passionate about helping you all when those challenging situations come up. When you have to have a difficult conversation, perhaps you have to give feedback and you want the feedback to be taken well. You don't want the person to become overly emotional or too upset. Or maybe you have a situation with your boss, like we've talked about previously in one of our channels. We had a long conversation about working with bosses that may be trying to give you a hard time or give your credit away to someone else. We've talked about jobs that will change the work schedule so you can't pick up your children. These are complex situations that happen, and oftentimes we just don't know what to do as leaders. We're not quite sure of how to handle it. What should I do? What should I say? How should I say it? When should I say it? All of those things. And it all comes down to how we communicate. I say on my channel, people become great by how they communicate. And if you can communicate at that higher level, you are automatically going to go to greatness. And that's what I'm here to do, is to help you unlock your greatness and help you to navigate, of course, the easy situations that happen. But let's talk about those complex situations that nobody is really talking about. What to do, how to say it, and when to say it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to support you on your journey, to help you be able to just learn as much as you can when you have those hard situations come up. People typically come to me when it's the hard things, when it's hard conversations they have to have, which is why I want to share with you my over 20 years of experience, so that when you are in these situations as a leader, you have a strategy, you have some type of format to say, okay, I know if I need to develop my executive presence and I'm talking to a new group of people, they've never met me before, and I want to make a very good first impression. Perhaps you're in an interview, or perhaps you're going into a board meeting and you're talking to some external stakeholders or internal stakeholders or other individuals. I know what I need to do to show my executive presence and make that very strong first impression. Why? Because I just talked about it for the past 37 minutes. These are strategies that will absolutely help you to be able to do these type of situations whenever they come up. So I want to know from you, from those of you who are watching. First, I appreciate you for just still being here and hanging with me and spending time with me and just taking a moment to elevate yourselves professionally, because that is what this whole title is about. If you're watching this video, the fact that you're watching this video means that you care about how you are presenting yourself as a leader, and this is the best home for you on YouTube. We're going to go over real strategies, real techniques. If you all have any topics specifically that you want to learn more about, let me know. No topic is too challenging for me. I've been through a lot personally, and I've seen a lot professionally, and been through a lot professionally too. So I've seen quite a bit, and I've heard quite a bit over the years with not only my own experiences, but working with colleagues and working with clients. So if you have a situation or maybe a topic that you'd like for me to talk a bit more about as it relates to a YouTube video, I will do a video just for you. And if you want me to give you a shout out, I'd be happy to give you a shout out. I've done a couple videos so far from the individuals on my channel. As subscribers, I have a video coming up. Actually, this next upcoming week, I'm going to talk a bit more about having confidential conversations with other individuals. This is something that the forensic accountant had mentioned to me about doing a more in-depth video on, because sometimes we're in conversations with other people and there may be confidential information that's coming up and you're not sure, like, do I need to talk about this, or is this something I might not want to say? So we'll dive a bit more into that this upcoming week, but I'm here to help you. So any questions you have, any maybe specific scenarios you have that have been more challenging, or maybe you're frustrated about something specifically in your leadership journey, Maybe you're going on job interviews and you're not securing an employment opportunity. I have several videos as it relates to interviewing here on this channel. Maybe you're trying to figure out, how can I develop my tone of voice so that I sound more like a leader? I have a few videos on my channel to help you out. But if you have a specific topic that you want to learn more about, I'm here really to help you. I know a lot of people on YouTube do the exact same thing, but I want to let you know that I will genuinely do a video just for you if it is a topic that is related to helping you be able to grow as a person and to develop yourself to that next level and that best version of yourself that I know all of you are wanting to become. So just let me know. Let me know what you want to talk about, what you want to learn more about. Feel free to lean on my over 20 years of experience in these very contentious roles and allow it to help you be able to not make the mistakes that I made and to really fast track your success. This is what working with an executive coach is all about, is to not only help you go to that next level in your career, in your life, professionally, but it also helps you to go to that next level a lot faster than you would by yourself. So if you have found any value here in this video and it's been very helpful to you, and you are at a point where you are serious about your leadership journey and where you're going and how you want to present yourself and etc., then just contact me for a strategy session. The link is in the description below. And it's basically a conversation where we just talk briefly for about 20 minutes about where you are, where you want to be, and then we'll determine what type of game plan would be best for you or what type of strategy would be best for you to help you move forward in your career. So I appreciate you all for being here. And for those of you who are watching the replay, if you have any questions specifically or any comments that you want to make about developing your executive presence, maybe you've been in situations where you felt like you were being overlooked, people weren't paying attention to you and etc., then let me know. Let's talk about it and I'll help you come up with a strategy to be able to overcome some of those challenges. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. If you are new to me, I go live Tuesday through Friday. I do that. If there's something that happens and I don't, then it must have been something catastrophic because I made a commitment to you all. I want to make sure that I'm here present for you all between Tuesday through Friday. So let me know if you have anything. Make sure you spend some time on my lives. I have a lot of really good information on my lives. There's a lot of challenging situations that come up that are talked about on my lives. So there's often polls I do on my platforms that I have accounts on, which is Dr. Jacinta Lamantai at LinkedIn. And then on Instagram, it's at Excite Excellence, and of course here on YouTube as well. But most of the time I use polls and the responses that my audience gives me for their poll responses to help develop live videos and content to help you all on your journey to go to that next level. So feel free to check out the polls. Definitely take a look at my lives and just watch them. Just learn as much as you can. There's a lot of great information there that will absolutely help you. And I appreciate you just being here. Feel free to share this information to anybody that you think will be able to benefit from it, that wants to go to that next level in their career. The lives are where a lot of conversations take place. And we've done so many lives together. And I appreciate you all so much for being here with me and supporting me on my journey to go to that next level, because we've done so many lives here on YouTube that YouTube has noticed I've done so many lives on YouTube, and they invited me to be a part of the YouTube live streamer research panel, where I'm going to be giving some feedback as it relates to live streaming on the platform because I've done so many lives. So I do plan on keeping my same consistent schedule that I've had for, wow, I think we've been doing this since January of this year, or going into February. So now we're in July, heading into August next week. And we've been doing this for a while. So I appreciate you all being here and being so supportive. If you all have any questions, I see we have a few people that are still here. I appreciate you all for still being here. If you have any questions, anything, just ask me. I'm here to help you. I want to help you. No question is too hard of a question, especially as it relates to professional. Okay, because you know on YouTube sometimes you'll have people ask you some very, very, very odd things. I don't know why, but I know if you're still watching, then you are very passionate about how you're presenting yourself as a leader, as a woman in leadership, as a man in leadership. My target audience is woman in leadership, but I have a lot of people on my channel that are in both categories, men and women, and I really appreciate everybody for just being here regardless of gender, because I know you care about your leadership journey in terms of how you want to communicate as a leader. So let me know if you have any questions. If you do not have any, I hope you all have an absolutely amazing weekend, and I will reconnect with you all on next Tuesday with some more topics. Make sure you check out my polls. I'm going to be sending out another poll most likely on Saturday. Let me know what topics you want to learn more about. If you're not sure what you want to put in the chat today, that's fine. Take a few moments to think about, well, maybe what are you struggling with? What are your challenges right now as a leader? What are you struggling with right now? What conversations are you having a hard time with? Or what scenarios are you having a hard time with right now? Feel free to let me know. Just put it in the comments below. I will respond to the comments and be able to record a video just for you. So I appreciate you all being here, and I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.